This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3 in the NLT. This vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Right, shalom to the elect, 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Dama Agabar here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. And if you know, you already know, when I start the videos with Habakkuk, the second chapter, it's always more than likely dealing with the MOTB, the mark of the beast, dealing with this whole digital system that these devils are getting ready to, force down everybody's throat. And I was reading this article here from Zero Hedge titled, UK goes full cradle to grave with sinister plan for newborn baby digital IDs, you see? And, hey, in this case, they're starting them young. They're starting them right out of the womb. And this is ultimately what these elites want to do. They want to get these, the future generations, as soon as they be born, already born into this dystopian digital technocracy, into this digital beast system, and right now they're working on, the everyday average citizens with this whole, BS of, we need digital IDs for you to have the right to work in order for you to have access to different, social services and, different things of that nature. But we know at the end of the day, it's all a snare and it's all a trap. But now these devils are trying to pass a law to where as soon as the babies come out of the womb, they want them already, already digitally ID'd. And eventually, they're going to want it to where as soon as you come out of the womb, you're going to be micro C-hipped, man. You see, but this is all part of the agenda, and they want this to be global. They want this to be worldwide. They just do little things like in the UK or in Australia and different parts of the world. They'll try to get these things passed. To where eventually it's going to become mandatory. It's going to become the norm. And this is what they ultimately want in the future. All future babies that are born, and pretty much every single person on this planet Earth. Read Revelation, the 13th chapter, in the 16th and 17th verse, which we always bring out dealing with the MOTB, which I'm not going to get it. I'm just going to ultimately just read this article, but it just shows you, hey, these devils are going forward. It says the UK government's digital ID push is escalating into outright dystopia. What does this word dystopia mean? We go into this word all the time, but for those who may be new and may come across this, dystopia means an imagined state or society in which there is great suffering or injustice, typically one that is totalitarian or post-apocalyptic. You see? So let's get this in simple terms. Let me see. A dystopia is an imagined world or society in which people led wretched, dehumanized, fearful lives. It is an imagined place, possibly a state in which everything is unpleasant or bad, typically a totalitarian or environmentally degraded one. And this is the type of world these elites are trying to establish. But again, remember, this man is the devil. He's going to present it. Come on. He's going to present it as peace and safety and as, this future where everything is going to be, just utopian. Everything will be perfect and everything will go digital. Your life will be easier. Things will be more convenient. But really, in the true essence of it, it's going to be hell for the citizens that are under a totalitarian or this digital technocracy these elites are trying to establish, man. It's basically a system of complete and total control to where all power and all authority will be in the hands of the elite and everybody else will be serfs and slaves and forced in 15-minute cities. You'll have your social credit score, your ability to travel freely, your right to have free speech, and your lives would be a complete and total hell under the rulers that rule it, man. And this is what this whole digital ID and the MOTB, the mark of the beast, is really all about. But like I said, these devils are going to present it as, convenience and this utopia, and it's going to be perfect and everything will be great and everybody will have great lives. You'll have universal basic income, they'll save the earth and the planet. But meanwhile, it ain't none of those things, man. All right. It says the UK digital ID push is escalating into outright dystopia, with ministers privately floating the idea of assigning digital identities to newborns right alongside their health records. You see, and this is the ultimate goal of these elites, man. As soon as you born, they want you already bagged and tagged, man. Fitted with a micro C hip, fitted with a Neuralink, fitted, a hacked animal. As soon as you come out of the womb, totally, hijacked into their digital beast system, man. Where they can have, so they can know what's going on the inside of you from the moment you come out of the womb to the moment you die, man. It says their sinister expansion revealed by the Daily Mail exposed labor's true agenda, a lifelong tracking system masquerading as a tool to curb illegal immigration, you see? And that whole illegal immigration, then bringing in all those migrants into the UK and into Europe was all part of the agenda. It was all part of the plan, so they can be, you know, so they can use this whole idea of having digital IDs to be able to track and trace all these migrants and these foreigners coming into the country. But now it's somehow trickling down to every, natural born citizen of the EU. And people are slowly, catching on that it was all a bunch of bullshit. And that's what this man does on every level, man. Everything that he does is backed in secrecy and deception and lies and BS, man, because he ultimately has an agenda. It says the move is being slammed as a blatant power grab, with many warning it has nothing to do with border control and everything to do with eroding freedoms from birth. And that's exactly what it is, man. Like I said, that whole fucking, the whole digital ID being used to control the border and to track and to trace these migrants that are in these countries, wrecking all type of mayhem and havoc and committing crime. They finding out that it was all bullshit. That was just a geist. That was just an agenda being used for them to bring in this dystopian type of system, man. You see, it says this is Basil the Great. It says newborn babies to be given digital ID. Ministers in the Labor government have now let slip their latest proposal. This must be stopped. Nobody wants this. You see, digital ID for babies, not only for babies but also for all of you adults and every. The fuck happened? Oh, there we go. It says the proposal emerged in secretive cabinet office meetings led by Minister Josh Simons, who cited Estonia's model where infant gets unique numbers at birth registration for accessing public services. You see, isn't that what that guy Strommer just came out and said a couple of months back last year? That in order for you to work in the UK, you must have your digital ID. That's the bottom line. You see, it's all an agenda, man, and it's all coming to pass. You see. That's why I always start with Habakkuk, the second chapter, when I go into these type of videos, man, because, hey, it's not tarrying. This is heavy end time prophecy right here, because we know these digital IDs are going to lead to the MOTB. This is why here in America now they're pushing 6G. This is why they want artificial intelligence and AI to go unchecked, unvetted, and to have the green light to just, expand exponentially, because all three of those things go hand in hand. Digital IDs, artificial intelligence, and the mark of the beast, and that 6G system, man. And it's going to ultimately culminate this dystopian beast system, man. It says Simons even suggested digital IDs could help teenagers log into social media, tying in global crackdowns like Australia under 16 ban on apps such as TikTok. Announced by President Minister Keir Starmer in September as a way to verify job candidates' right to work, the scheme is slated for the rollout by 2028-29 at a staggering 1.8 billion cost. But the government has stonewalled on details, fueling suspicions of mission creep. Shadow Cabinet Officer Minister Mike Wood blasted the idea. Labor said their plan for mandatory digital ID was about tackling illegal immigration, which was all cap, which was all BS. You see, this is how they were able to even openly talk about it and, push it upon the people. And of course, a lot of those people over there in Europe being affected by all those migrants and them, those invaders, so to speak. raping women, doing all type of crazy shit. This is why they're able to even to float this idea to the people, because they use that whole immigration situation over there in the UK to be able to push this agenda. It said Labor said their plan for mandatory digital ID was about tackling illegal immigration, but now we hear they are secretly considering forcing it on newborns. What do babies have to do with stopping the boats? This would be a deeply sinister overreach by Labor, and all without any proper national debate. Yep, former Tory cabinet minister Sir David Davis echoed the outrage, calling it creeping state surveillance. He added, "The idea that we should allocate children ID at birth is frankly an effort to centuries of British history and is being put out by stupid ministers who really don't understand the technology that they're playing with." Oh no, they fully understand the technology that they're playing with. Trust me, they know what the technology they're playing with. It's all part of the agenda of these elites. And all of these ministers and prime ministers and Labor Party, they've all been brought and paid off by the elites to push this shit. They know exactly what this technology is for, and the end game with it, man. You see? It says they think they are being clever and modern, but a large number of people will be outraged by this, and it will end up being hated by a lot of people. Right. And this is why scriptures tell us that there's going to be sedition. They're not going to regard their kings nor princes, and it's going to happen here in the States, in the Americas, and all over the world. Once these devils really push into start getting this system fully implemented, and people really start to really wake up to what this shit is all about, there's going to be all type of uproars of the people, man. There's going to be sedition, it's going to be rioting, it's going to be chaos. All hell is going to break loose. It says Davis accused Starmer of peddling the policy on a bogus premise, but quietly ballooning it without parliamentary input, labeling it a constitutional disgrace delivered in a disgraceful manner. Well, that's of course that is what it is, exactly. But these devils don't give a damn. Hey, they have but a short time, so they're going to go forward with this shit, whether you people are wanting it or not. It says Liberal Democrat spokesman Lisa Smart warned reports that ministers may be considering dragging newborn babies into their already overreaching digital ID scheme would be a frightening development. Yep, attendees at the meeting sworn to secrecy described jaw-dropping when the newborn ID concept was raised. One source told the Daily Mail the disturbing prospect of digital IDs for newborn babies show this has nothing to do with right-to-work checks, immigration, or giving people choices. It's a cradle-to-grave digital file being dishonestly forced on every single Briton. This is a shocking, underhanded way to massively expand a controversial policy our country has always rejected. You see? Big Brother Watch, a leading privacy advocacy group, sounded the alarm. Newborn babies could be given digital ID under secretive cradle-to-grave surveillance plans. The disturbing prospect of digital IDs for newborn babies showed this was never about the right to work checks, immigration, or choice. No shit, Sherlock. Because it's about total control. It's about prophecy ultimately being fulfilled, and this devil doing the bidding and the work of Satan, man. You see? It says this development builds on Starmer's broader biometric tracking rollout, the BritCard system, tied to the UK One Login platform, promises to block illegal migrants from jobs, but ignores the flood of legal asylum seekers and offers endless tools for government overreach. Right? Because it's all a scam. It's all a trick. They're all snares and traps, man. Using one thing to be able to try to push this agenda, but ultimately it's going to be to enslave every goddamn body, whether you're a immigrant or a natural Briton. They want everybody under this technocracy. They want everybody under this beast system. They want everybody to have their digital ID on board, and eventually they want to put a micro C-hip in everybody, the mark of the beast, man. All right. Look at this. It says a government spokesman claimed the only mandatory area of the program would be for digital right to work checks. Only people starting a new job will need to use the scheme. But a Whitehall source admitted it's all hypothetical, with a public consultation pending. This is the death of privacy, starting at the cradle. Brits must reject this authoritarian slide before every citizen is fully reduced to a tracked data point in a vast surveillance state, right? The MOTB system, man. And it's going to fully culminate with them putting a micro C-hip in your ass, man. And it's not only going to be over there in the EU or in the UK. They're going to bring this here to the States and to America as well, man. because this is all a global agenda, man. Like I said, I didn't bring out too many precepts, but it just goes to show, hey, this thing is not tarrying, man. And we know ultimately all roads lead to the MOTB. You see, and these man's plans and their schemes are being figured out, man, which is not very deep to understand what they're doing. They're not very prolific, as I've heard Elder Apostle Gabar say many of times, that dealing with these elites. They just have a plan that work and they stick to it, but it's very, it's not that deep, man. But ultimately, hey, we got the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So it's just our job and our duty when we see information like this to bring it out, because we ultimately know what it's going to lead to at the end of the day, man. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And to the next one, shalom.